Yeah, guys, let's get to the Browns here. And before, we got a new sponsor. Their name is Rajit Reddy. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra and Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rajit Reddy. Rajit Reddy is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rajit's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast. On average, about 15 minutes. And effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rajit might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. So head over to Rajit.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL and use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, and manufacturing review. Please visit Rajit website for full safety information.
Thank you for that, Ant. Let's talk a little football now, guys. ESPN put out an article ranking the eight last place teams from 2024 in terms of their chances to go from worst to first in 2025. The Browns, obviously, one of those 8 teams. So let's look at how ESPN ranked these teams in order of most likely to go worst to first to least likely. Up first was the San Francisco 49ers. Second place, the Bears. Third place, the Patriots. In fourth, the Saints. We'll talk about the order, whether or not we agree with this particular order in a second. In fifth place, you had the Titans. In sixth, the Raiders. The Giants came in seventh, and the Browns were ranked the least likely team, who finished in last place, to now go worst to first. ESPN gave them a 2.2% chance of winning the division this year. Dustin, when you see that list, we'll get to the other 7 teams in a second, but 2.2% chance for the Browns to go from worst to first. Does that sound about right to you?
I mean, probably, but I think it's probably 2.2% for most of those teams that are on that list. You know, for them, the Browns.
The Giants were at 3.3 and 7th.
Yeah, I mean, it's close for all those teams. I mean, none of those teams are probably going to have a great year. The Browns, I think the win total's 5.5 in Vegas. I mean, that's probably the right number. You know, to go to first, there's just no chance.
Look at the quarterbacks in the division.
Unless, and again, it's all at this point hypothetical. But Flacco would have to be amazing, or Pickett, or Shedeur would be the offensive rookie of the year, would have an amazing season. Everything would have to go the Browns' direction. I mean, you probably need an injury to Lamar Jackson or something like that, because we know the Bengals and the Ravens are really good. Aaron Rodgers is in Pittsburgh. You need that thing to go south. You need probably Lamar to have an off year or get hurt. And then maybe Burrow, his offensive line, decides not to block for him like they did in the last couple of years. So, I mean, that's how it could happen. It's unlikely. I mean, maybe 2% is a little low. I'd put it maybe a little higher, but not by much.
Jason, any issue with the Browns being ranked last on their chances to go from worst to first?
When's the last time they won a division? The 80s?
They've never won the division.
Well, yeah, since coming back.
Yeah.
So what has to happen for the Browns to win the division? Well, a work stoppage.
Change the colors, change the team name. No, I'm kidding.
A strike.
I said no miracles in the rundown.
A strike and lockout players, or players to cross the picket line and scabs, and then the Browns can win the division. That's the only way that the Browns can win. I mean, come on, be serious. If they couldn't win the division with the players that they've had the last couple of years, they're not winning the division with what they have now. So it's unfortunate, the division that they're in. It's sort of like the AL East in baseball, it feels like at times, or the NL West. They're against just some of the best, most, you're talking the Steelers and Ravens just on average, highly functioning, well-run teams, and you got to go against that every single year. So, yeah, they're in a tough spot. But, no, this team, absolutely they should be one of the worst percentage-type teams to win the division. It's just not happening this year.
The Browns have 4 quarterbacks competing for the starting job.
Yeah.
The AFC North has 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks in football. Make no mistake about it. Lamar and Burrow, in some order, are 2 of the top 4 guys. Now you have Aaron Rodgers.
Has Burrow won an MVP? No, right?
No, he's not won an MVP.
No, I was going to say, because, I mean, you've got an MVP in Rodgers now in your division. You've got a multi-time MVP in Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a damn hard division. Gauntlet's probably the best way to put it.
And you look at the Steelers, even prior to Aaron Rodgers, they're always competitive. Tomlin's never been sub 500. He made 500 teams out of Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett. Now he's got Aaron Rodgers in the fold. When you look at the Browns, they have the lowest win total projection in Vegas out of any team. They have the third hardest strength of schedule according to win projections.
That is one thing I don't really love. I don't love that stat because it's based off of last year.
I'm just saying when you're looking at the projection of it, who knows how they're going to be.
To me, those are like silly because you're basing it off of like a roster of last year versus new. Most teams have new.
I was saying the projected win totals.
So they factor in the roster changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Warren Sharp puts it together in the sense of
All
looking
right.
at all the projected win totals for
I
2025.
like Warren Sharp. I'll give you a pass.
Smashing it. They have the third hardest schedule looking at 2025 win totals, not what they previously did in 2024.
Got it. Okay.
And they have 4 quarterbacks competing for a job. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win in this league. It's so hard to succeed without legitimately solid, good quarterback play. And we've looked at the schedule. We've played the schedule game. Like, the Browns' schedule is incredibly difficult, and they're going to be in a ton of shootouts. You're going to need either Shedeur or Dillon or Joe or Kenny, one of those guys, to be able to match point for point with, look at the list, with Joe Burrow, with Lamar Jackson, with Jordan Love, with Jared Goff. We don't know how good J.J. McCarthy is, but he was a top 10 pick as opposed to Gabriel and Sanders, who were 3rd and 5th round picks. Doesn't mean they can't be better than J.J. in the long run, but looking at it from just that perspective, one was significantly higher regarded coming out of college than the rest. You could keep going down the schedule. Aaron Rodgers, Tua, Drake May, Justin Fields. Like, it's a gauntlet. I know not every one of those guys is a perennial Pro Bowler, but Lamar again, Purdy just got paid, Caleb Williams, Cam Moore. Like, it's a gauntlet. Then you got Josh Allen, and Rodgers and Burrow again. One of those guys has to step up and be able to score points. So I don't really have an issue with them being ranked where they are, 2.2%. Maybe it's a little low, but if I said 5%.
That's about right. 2.2 is about right. Might be a little high.
You think it's a little high?
If you play this NFL season 100 times, are the Browns winning the division twice?
Just to piss you off, I'm going to say they're going to do it 3 times.
I think it's less.
It feels about right. It feels about right.
It doesn't matter.
It's gonna be a death march, boys.
Yeah. It's all about finding the quarterback. That's it.
And what sucks is right now is like we have nothing to really talk about with this team because there's nothing going on until these guys hit the field in training camp.
Yeah.
This is that slow time where it's like, man, we know the team's not going to be great, and we still don't know who the quarterback's going to be. This is like just painful. It's a painful time.
They had the 5th pick in the draft, and how many segments have you done on the 5th pick in the draft since the draft?
2 or 3.
Think about that.
He hasn't put on pads.
I'm not blaming you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I mean, nobody really cares.
And that doesn't mean it's a bad pick. Like, actually,
I'm sure it's going to be a fine pick.
Yeah, it could be a great pick.
We all really like Mason Graham, the football player.
It could be a great
It's kind of
pick.
like when we drafted Miles to some degree because we knew Miles was going to be a great player. I think we all think Mason's going to be a great player, but it's not sexy, and it's not the quarterback. It's and we know we're not going to win until we have a quarterback. We could have a really good defense, and we could have guys that win defensive MVP and have all these sacks and amazing stats or whatever. But until we have the quarterback, we all know it
doesn't matter.
The Browns are 2.2%.
Let me ask you guys this, because I genuinely don't know what the answer would be. Let's say the Browns had an established quarterback, right? For the sake of this, let's just say they didn't draft Sanders, they didn't draft Gabriel. It was Flacco's job, right? It was Flacco, and they kept DTR. But we had no quarterback controversy. Joe Flacco was going to be the starting quarterback in 2025. And they still made the trade, and Mason Graham was the pick at 5. How much more would we be talking about Mason Graham than we have? Because we wouldn't have to do the entire quarterback carousel, who will it be, who won't it be, and focus so much attention on that storyline.
It's still a defensive tackle. I don't think we would have done maybe 1 or 2 more segments. I don't think anything more than that, just because it's so hard. How many people like talking about the defensive tackle?
G. Bush.
Yes, and outside of him. You played on defense. You like talking about defensive tackles?
I don't like talking about defense, period. To be honest with you. I mean, we can talk about some cornerback play or whatnot, but no, defense isn't fun to talk about for people. I don't mind talking about defense, but you know what I'm saying. We're talking about the sexy positions. We want to talk about receivers and guys that score touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's
Browns
crazy.
don't have many of those.
No.
I mean, they lost one of their leading touchdown scorers last year in Ronnie McLeod, who plays safety.
That's crazy.
He was actually great in the locker room. I enjoyed talking to him.
He's a
He's
good
great.
dude.
He's great.
Who now that he's gone, could Casey, who's the other safety they signed? Jenkins, Rayshon Jenkins? Like, could one of those guys fill a little bit of that leadership void on the defensive side of the ball?
I have no idea because I've never talked to him. I don't know. Know when we get in there, when we get in the locker room and see who's got the OG status.
You can't tell that from the little bit of OTAs you get to see?
I will
I know you weren't there.
totally
for all.
honest. When I was there, I was not paying any attention to the safeties at all.
All eyes on the quarterback?
All eyes on the quarterback. Yeah, basically. I watched a couple drills here and there, just if they were happening right in front of you, you know. But for the most part, it was all quarterback all the time.
And we pull up that list one more time real quick, 1 through 4 and then 5 through 8. When you look at these other teams, we got a few minutes to kill here. When you look at the other teams, San Francisco probably is the obvious number one, considering last year it was the season from hell from them. Everyone got hurt. Ayuk was out. I know they traded Debo, but Trent Williams missed a time. He should be back. Ayuk should be healthy. Purdy was paid this offseason. Christian McCaffrey should be healthy. Would you make a case for any of those 4 teams being ahead of San Francisco in terms of the team most likely to go from worst to first?
The only
It's
one.
not going to be the Patriots.
No, it's not going to be the Patriots. I mean, I guess you could say the Bears. New coach, Caleb taking a leap. I guess you could make that case, but are they really going to beat the Lions in the division?
Refresh my memory. Who did the Saints sign as their quarterback?
Tyler.
They drafted Shuck.
Shuck.
Yeah.
The only reason they're at 4 is because their division is such a crapshoot. Like, it's the only because they're not.
I mean, the answer
Good.
is they have this right. I mean, the Niners will probably be the most likely to go
Yeah.
from worst to first
Yeah.
because of their injury situation. They've got their quarterback back.
I would like the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are right there.
I would like the Bears better if they weren't in the Lions division.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt them. The Saints,
It's all a division play with them.
yeah, and that's. I guess you could probably make a really strong case for the Saints just because the division that they're in. The Patriots aren't going to beat the Bills.
Even though the Saints suck. You look at that roster, that is not a good roster.
Yeah,
And who is 5, Ant? Who is 5?
5 is the Titans.
5 is the Titans. The Giants aren't beating the Eagles. Raiders, I can't see them beating the Chiefs. I mean, if Cam Ward's good, maybe the Titans have a chance because that division. I like the Texans, but
yeah. Agree. That division isn't overwhelming. Jacksonville seems to underwhelm every year, and the Browns fans certainly hope they underwhelm one more time. What do you hear up there?
you hear that rattling?
No,
Do you hear it?
No.
it's just in your head. Your head's
No,
rattling.
I definitely. It's not loud, but I definitely hear something. Wouldn't it be funny? This is the one year the Jaguars don't implode. The one year that they don't control their own fate, and the Browns would be the beneficiary of a classic Jacksonville implosion. And
Win
this
the
is the
division,
year
win 12
that
games.
Trevor Lawrence puts
13.
it all together.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter's a stud. ETN stays healthy.
It's certainly possible, guys. I mean,
Of course
Yeah.
it is.
I've picked them to be good the last 5 years, and they have not lived up to. I don't know if it's 5, but they have not lived up to expectations in any of said years. So it would be.
they've been in the
typical.
playoffs twice or once in those 5 years.
Got to be 2. It's got to be
Well,
2.
Trevor Lawrence, they had that 28-point collapse against the Chargers.
They lost the Dolphins one year, right? Didn't they?
The
No,
Jaguars
no.
won that game, didn't they, against the Chargers?
Did the Chargers collapse in that game?
I forget. I don't know. It was
I feel
one
like
of the
they've been
teams
in the
collapsed.
It
One of
wasn't
those
the
two.
Dolphins. I feel like they've been to the playoffs twice, though.
Could be once or twice.
Either way, I think Trevor Lawrence is a good player, and people are like hate on Trevor Lawrence, and that's fine. I think he's going to be he's going to bounce back, turn
Yeah.
things around. Yeah, if he's healthy,
Well,
he's
hopefully,
got. I mean, I like his game.
it would kill Browns fans if he's good and he's just throwing bombs to Travis Hunter. Like it would
Well,
literally
dude,
be.
you know how it's going to play out. It plays out this way every time.
You can tell Dustin's been covering this team forever.
Dude, I mean, yes.
So jaded.
Yes. I mean,
Brian Thomas Jr. and Hunter
every
could be-
day we talked about this, and I worked for the team for 9 years, like we've seen the story before.
They gave the Falcons Julio Jones. And again,
I mean,
I got the receipts. I love the trade. I'm not backing down from that now. I thought it was great because you got to get a quarterback, and it set them up to have the opportunity.
The Julio
to go get a
Jones
quarterback.
trade?
No. I'm sorry. The
Travis Hunter trade.
the Travis
Yeah.
Hunter trade. I'm totally fine with what they did this year because until
Hunter's
solve
going to be a
quarterback-
great player.
Yeah, but until you solve quarterback, it's not going to matter. So, if he's elite and Jacksonville has a great year and they go to the playoffs and it's a low pick, if that's still the ammo that they need to move up, it's still worth it. Now they got to get the pick right. They got to get the quarterback right.
It is sickening that we could have had Shedeur and Travis.
You could have. Yeah.
Can you imagine the media frenzy if that ended up? I mean, just think we have just Shedeur,
Yeah.
and we have seen an influx of people care about the Browns that had never cared about Cleveland before. If they got Travis and Shedeur,
Oh, yeah.
whoo!
The state of Colorado would have moved to. Well, that's not true, because it's really not Colorado fans. It's really just Shedeur and Travis Hunter fans.